Yo, what I did, y'all. Let's get right into it. So, it's been an exciting ass day, right? We got the league announcement today, or the day this is being recorded, as well as the patch notes dropping. And there's a lot for me to go over, a lot for me to uncover, all that good stuff. It's going to take several videos. But in this one, I want to talk about some of my first thoughts on the patch just as a whole. Some of the more detailed topics are going to come out, either before or after this video, but I need to talk about just general thoughts going into this patch because, well, shit, there's a lot of them, right? With 30k patch notes plus a full announcement of a league that I still have to, do some more study of because my power was down for a couple of days all the way up until 10 minutes before patch notes went live. So we're still like getting into everything, right? We're figuring a whole lot of shit out. But this video in particular, some of my early thoughts about the melee rework, some stuff before I start to really sit down and hash out numbers, look what it looks like in my builds and whatnot, because I'm really excited about what I saw. But I need to think a little bit and especially reflect on a previous video that I made talking about the problem with melee range and if I think these changes are actually going to help at all. So, before we get into any of that, if you like these type of videos, liking the video helps let me know that that's what you fuck with. And if you want to see more of what I do on this channel, subscribe and turn that notification bell on to be notified when I do post more. Now, let's get into it, right? So, melee changes. That was the big thing with this release cycle, right? All of the teasers, we were all fanaticizing over the existence of dead totems everywhere. And they weren't kidding. We no longer have melee totems in the game. Fucking fantastic, right? Well, maybe if you're an Earthbreaker enjoyer, this is a little bit of a sad moment for you, but the other totems are gone. And nobody is shedding a tear for Ancestral War Chief or Ancestral Protector, except for the few Ancestral War Chief like lab runners that were still existed out there. And honestly, you'll be fine. You can find a new totem, I believe. Now, for the rest of us, you no longer have to put down Protector and War Chief in order to do any fucking damage. Cue up some terrible fucking Frostblades gameplay or some shit here, right? Like we've been through it. We know what this likes and what this has been like, and it sucks. But we got a whole lot of melee changes. It was not just minus totems plus damage. We did get a section of changes that is pretty much just that though. Like, we don't have the totems anymore. Some of the nodes got adjusted. Dawn Strider no longer has the linger effect, right? The totem mastery for linger doesn't exist, right? And then all of our skills got something between 60 and 120% damage buffs to the ADE on the attack skills as a result of the loss of the totems. I'm not really here to talk all the numbers about the melee skills themselves yet, which ones I think are going to be particularly nuts or anything, because that's going to take me more time. I need to spend some we're in a flurry right now, right? I'm just mostly getting the initial thoughts out before I start to figure out what the new thing is. But what I do have time to talk about here is just the different things that they kind of went over in bulks to talk about things that I'm like, okay, maybe we're getting there, but I have to recenter us real quick. Remember, a couple videos ago, maybe like a month or so ago now at this point, I said that the real problem with melee is range. I firmly believed at that time, and I still hold this belief to a large extent, that the biggest problem with being melee is being melee. I don't feel like there are enough intrinsic benefits to being melee. And from what I've seen so far, I still don't think we have intrinsic benefits for being melee, but I do think they took away a lot of the inconveniences that came with being melee, but I still don't feel like I feel special to be melee. Let me elaborate on that feeling a little bit. You play an elemental build, for example, you play a cold damage build because you want freeze, because you want chill. It's not just because numerically cold damage scales insanely well, used to. Hatred later, we'll talk about that later, right? But that's not the main focus, right? The main reason you want cold builds is because, either you're like me when I started the game and you're obsessed with Herald of Ice pops, like that shatter sound is incredible, or it's because the value of chill and freeze is very high to you in terms of what it offers defensively. You like ignite builds because damage over time setups are comfortable. They allow you to dodge. They allow you to have downtime without doing no damage. right? You choose to play a bow build because Mirage Archer provides you a quality of life in the fact that you can attack while you were still moving, right? Like, these are the upsides of playing playstyles that we have. And a part of what I feel like Melee is lacking is one of these upsides. The closest thing to an upside we have in that department is our movement skills as a Melee character, in that Whirling Blades and Leap Slam are both fantastic movement skills. It's just that Leap Slam has been co-opted by casters, and so is Whirling Blades, to be honest. So what do we actually get? Do we get tankier? No. Well, do we get more range? No. Actually, in fact, the number of skills lost the melee range that was innate to them, which I think is fucking ridiculous and the wrong direction to go, right? What else do we get? What do we get then? Do we get clear speed? I mean, if the skill had clear speed before, it still has clear speed now. It might have gotten less damage as a result of this stuff. Fuck, what do we get then? And that's my problem right now with the melee changes. I feel like melee got a lot of good, like a lot of good from, but I don't feel like it's the right good. Right? So let's start from the top, starting with range and the banner changes. I'm 50-50 on how I feel about both of these. Pretty sure the banner changes are good. The banners themselves seem pretty decent. The playstyle does look like it's just going to be the new version of totems, but you know, they last longer, they can't die. There's only one of them. So notable amounts of upsides to this new version of totems, but it does feel like it's going to be almost like the new version of totems a little bit. Also, if I have to read the words, must engage in melee combat to gain valor, I will throw something. Please find a better way to phrase that. But banner seems solid. I think it's a step in the right direction, but nothing too special. Rage. I do not like this rage rework. And that might get my head put on a pitchfork somewhere. But like, look, hear me out, okay? Hear me out. I feel like what made rage before is not what it is now. Rage was introduced to us as a Berserker exclusive stat. That was the idea. This is a Berserker stat that you will get some access to elsewhere. Okay, so what does rage entail? It's bloodlusting, right? It's berserking. Like, think Olaf from League of Legends. Shit, think the sound of bloodlust makes in fucking World of Warcraft. Like, that's what I'm thinking of when I think of fucking rage, not 30% more attack damage. Now, look, mathematically, 30% more attack damage is definitely better than what old rage used to give us. But no attack speed anymore? Come on, bro. And now, okay, we get attack speed from being a berserker. So I guess it's okay. But there's no movement speed. Berserk got massively nerfed down. Remember when I said earlier that I felt like there needed to be benefits that existed to playing in this type of playstyle? Yeah, taking away the DR from Berserk does not qualify for this. Making Berserk just be, oh, you get increased rage effect now, which is just % more damage and % attack speed increase if you are a Berserker. And like, come on. Where's the burst DR to like let you actually utilize this burst window, right? I don't feel like rage is fulfilling its identity anymore. It's got a new one. It's meant to make melee better. I mean, sure, I guess. I'm okay with one part of these changes though, which is that rage gives notably more rage quicker. Like, you actually build up rage much quicker now, and I think that's awesome. That's awesome. No longer having like a fucking like, I felt like starting up a lawnmower trying to play a rage character before, and I think this looks a lot better in that direction. So huge A+ for that. I do think though, with the speed of generation increase and the penalty of not generating also increased, I feel like the change to Chainbreaker and Come Spirit to make sure that it was very clear that this doesn't stop the rage loss is just such an unnecessary kick in the dick. Like, bro, let them live. They've already been nerfed to ridiculous degrees. Anyways, That's Rage thoughts, right? I I think that the banner and rage changes are definitely in the right direction. The more important change, of course, is the lack of totems now. The totems being gone and then all the skills being buffed to compensate for this, with some skills receiving larger buffs than others and some not actually receiving nearly large enough buffs to, accommodate appropriately for whether or not they were a strong skill, a weak skill, whether or not they needed both totems or only one totem, etc. A lot of changes there. There were also some changes related to bleed, but I feel like bleed related changes need to be their own separate fucking thing because god damn, there's a lot going on, right? Other melee related changes that I actually want to talk about in particular is actually the leveling. I think that this is an important thing to note if you are looking into playing melee this league because the numbers look insane. I feel the need to point out to you that every melee skill that had flat damage on it lost that flat damage. And this is a very important thing to be aware of, as well as chance to bleed support losing its flat fizz. Be aware of this and what it will do to your leveling before you actually have a real weapon, right? They are definitely changes that were made in compensation for the fact that we got the quality change on our weapons for fizz melee, which again, just be wary that means you actually need to get a good weapon before we're like really in there, right? That's like my one note. It's not even meant to like scare you away from anything. I just want you to be aware of it so that you don't like give yourself turbo disappointment when you try to queue it up and it's just not working the right way, right? That's generally my thoughts on Melee. I'm pretty excited for the state of Melee up and coming, just because I think if nothing else, it'll be more playable. I think anyone saying that this is going to be a Melee league is a little deluded, personally, including myself, right? We love ourselves some Delulu around these parts, but I think you're a little deluded if you think that Melee is going to be the solution as a result of anything that changed here, only because I didn't see enough of those playstyle enabling changes outside of like, I think there was like a mastery for like ancestral call targeting going further out. Like we need more changes like that. We need more changes that actually give us like the quality of life and the playstyle improving changes, the melee exclusive defenses, like a buff to fortify would have been incredible, for example, or something like that. Like things to like actually like really reward us for playing melee. I don't feel like I've actually gotten that. And you could say, oh, they fixed the totem stuff. That's great. But like, what's gonna stop me from just booting up the Deadeye with how fucking good Deadeyes look right now, man? What's gonna stop me from doing that? Real talk. All right. Anyways, now that I've given you all of my thoughts, thank you for watching. If you like this video, if you like it, like the video, lets me know that you want to see more of it, right? Subscribe to the channel with the notifications on if you want to see more of when we're posting. Drop in the comments your thoughts about Melee. Is this a Melee league? Are you league starting Melee? Let me know what you're starting so I can steal your build. Yep. That's right, baby. I'm stealing your build. As well, in the description, there'll be a link to my Twitch and my Discord. Twitch will be streaming over there a little bit more often. Well, we were ramping up on the stream frequency, and then the storm knocked me out, is what it is. And then also, Discord, highly active there. Come chat it up with us. You know the deal. Anyways, I'm out. See y'all in the next one. Peace.